Good morning, my name is Tom Holmes, and I teach people stuff. Welcome to the Free School Company. Free is about dollar bills, it's not Free Spirit Company. And it's about companies simply because we look at the economics as we're looking at this particular project. We're going to look at how to get a job and how to start a company. Nothing much more complicated than that. I have a zero budget. That's why it's free, and I use borrowed classrooms. I'm a volunteer and I teach in various facilities. And who are the people that are in my classroom or receiving this instruction wherever I need to hand it out? There are people with and without resources. I actually had a guy say to me once, "I'm down to my last million. This is getting serious." This is a guy that is in crisis, and he's saying, "This is enough." And a guy, 55 years old, mom lets him sleep on the couch, and she does his laundry and cooks him some food, and he's got resources. He does have resources. And then we get down to homeless, and in many cases they view themselves as having resources. They're sleeping in the car or whatever's going on with them. There's always a mix of people in there, and some of them have licenses to protect, like airline pilots, nurses, lawyers, pharmacists, and doctors. People get into trouble no matter what their backgrounds are. And the last group is people with issues, and this is kind of predominant, drug and alcohol abuse. This is the world of rehab, the world of trying to come back and get back into the world. Drug and alcohol abuse, thought and mood disorders, that can be mental illness, it can be emotional illness. Anger issues, gambling, codependency, pride, sex issues, and perfectionism, which are all just issues that people have. I teach in the Coachella Valley, and that's Palm Springs, Indio. It swings around the mountain to Hemet and goes up the hill, Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, and 29 Palms, where there's a big military base. And it has a wider world than that, but that's really what it is. It's about people having trouble getting back into not only the workforce, but to anything that is rearranging and re-looking at their economics and their income. And that can be people in the military. They're coming out of the military and they're facing a new world. Okay, what am I supposed to do with this now? And it can be long-term unemployed, people who have been trying for years to get a job and get back into the workforce, having difficulty with that. And also it can be people that are convicted felons. We have a drug court system. Drug court system is very straightforward. It's a national phenomenon. It has a 90% success rate. They take, and it's a pre-selected group. They're non-violent, convicted felons that are going to prison. And we start looking at that, we want to be sure that we're understanding just how powerful a force this is in the world of rehab. Very, very strong program based on 12 steps, and anyways, we'll be looking at that as well. Retired people, these are people that have not been in the workforce for years, and all of a sudden they're finding themselves, hey, wait a second, this is a difference. I can pay the rent, but I can't eat food, and $200 is going to make a huge difference to me. I have a very kind of basic web blog that was put together by a guy that understood how to do this. It's not slick, but it's perfectly adequate, and it's a repository of information. It's called www.Genesis Palm Springs, and it's a web blog, so it's interactive, and it's a basis for what could be a commercial website. You could get a credit card commercial application to this and go with it. But in the meantime, you could copy the approach that this is. Gives you kind of a sloppy but basic web blog, and it's pretty good. It's Genesis Palm Springs. Genesis is the beginning. How to get a job, how to start a company. Quantity is the word. It's about a numbers game, and it needs to be not intrusive. You're not out there beating people over the head to get a job. This is a function of quantity. Is 10 enough? Is 1,000 enough? It's probably somewhere in between. will show you a whole process, but quantity has a quality of its own. And if you can't buy into this part of the premises, you got to rethink it. Look at it again. You fall short by saying, oh, I quit, it's so discouraging. Well, this won't be discouraging. This is a simple process where you just start turning out the material that we talk about turning out. There are three different things we address. One is posted job market. We're going to spend almost no time on that because basically it's on the website. Joe has a video on that and it covers it. I think it is not the way to go, but a lot of people do it, so we're including it. Starting your own company, that's going to be with personal letters, and they're going to take different forms, so don't worry about like you're composing a big long letter to buyer seller, because you may be on both sides of that picture. And we'll go into detail about it. It overlaps the job search. A lot of similarity between the two of them. The hidden job market is personal letters to the man, to the person in charge, the general manager, the owner, the president, whoever's involved that is the decision maker. Not to human resources, it goes to the person in charge. And if you think, oh man, I couldn't do that, he's such an important guy. Don't worry about it. This works well and it's not intrusive. This is not going to embarrass you in any way. I'm asking you to rethink the way you look at things. A new pair of glasses. Put on a new pair of glasses. Come up with a different perspective on it. Grit your teeth. Oh my gosh, what could I do? This could be just so embarrassing. It could be awful, and it'll never work for me. Take another look at it. Take a new pair of glasses to what you do. This is what life is. Life is ups and downs and ups. It's always going to go on. You're going to have high points and low points in your life. You can't escape it. And there will be minor crises that you just skate right through. But the point is, you want to remember that crisis is what makes you do things. I have a toothache, I go to the dentist. That's a learned response. I know that if I've got a problem, it's painful, and I'm not going to think right until I get that pain corrected. So I go to the dentist, and he pushes me around a little bit, and he gets it corrected. And that's that. I have a learned response, and I'm doing it as a result of crisis. That's all that's involved. This is a crisis. Here is another crisis point. In this crisis point, we're looking at the top. You walk into your boss's office, everything is going great. You got a job, you got the car payments, everything is covered. Your family's happy, the kids love to eat, all the rest of it. And you walk into your boss's office and say, "Hey, George, how you doing?" And he says, "Go, just great. Hey, by the way, you're fired." Whoa, 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 whoa! I got car payments. I got a vacation plan, and you go into fear, and you're not activating a learned response. So crash, 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 and you get down to a point where you say, whoa, this is enough. These are independent crises. They're two different stories. So as you're going down, you're in fear, you're in stress, you're not making good decisions. That's the way it is. And when we're starting to look at this thing, we want to be aware of taking a magnifying glass to the down, to take a look at this thing differently and in detail. Because this is a crash down, and this is an increase. This is going up. This is Revelation. This is Genesis. And the second crisis is at the bottom. So if you're living in your car, let's say it gets to that. You're living in your car, and the one thing you don't want to do is live in a doorway. And your car breaks down, you don't have the money to repair it, and they take it away, and you're looking at spending that night in the street, sleeping in a doorway, and it's cold and it's rainy. That's crisis. That may be the crisis at the bottom of your life that says, no more. What do I have to? I'll do one night and I'm not doing any more. I'm going to go and do whatever I have to do to correct that situation. And there's learned response there. Same learned response, different crisis. And there's a magnifying glass on that one too. And when we look at that, we're going to be looking at the two features of life, because there's only two emotions in life. One is fear and one is love. And I have to stop this now because it's I'm pushing towards my 10 minutes. And so we'll pick it up in the next part 2 of this. And thanks for your patience.